Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to section 8.2. Kind of doing a little bit more with Markov chains. So basically, we're going to kind of move past using the trees and the transition diagrams and getting into using transition matrices. Basically, this is just used because, if I want to know like 4, 5, 6, 20, 40 transitions in the future, matrices make it a lot easier. So you don't want to make a tree that has 40 steps on it. So what we're going to look at today are called k-step transition matrices. So if we look at number 1 here, okay, so we've got our Markov chain, so 2 by 2. So you see we have 2 states. If I want to find what's called the 2-step transition matrix, okay, basically what that is finding, say we know what we are in week, like now we want to know 2 weeks from now. So we want to know 2 transitions. That's what this P of 2 means. Okay, so we could make a tree diagram and go through all that. What we do instead of that, though, is with our matrices, all this is P of 2, literally all we do is just basically matrix P squared. That's it. So we just multiply it by itself. So think back to multiplying matrices. Remember, I had said if you can multiply matrices for this chapter, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, didn't give myself a lot of room here, but bear with me. Okay, so remember, we multiply the row by column. So 0.2 times 0.2. 0.8 times 0.7. If we do that, that should give us 0.68. Okay, next, so that's our first entry. So we'll talk about what that means in a second. But so to get our next entry, we have our row times a second column. So 0.2 times 0.8. 0.8 times 0.3. Okay, that should add to 0.32. Okay, you can always know if you did them right because our row should add to 1, which it does. Okay, so then we go to the next row, 0.7 and 0.3 times 0.2 and 0.7. Okay, if we do that, it comes out to be 0.32 again. And then doing our second row times second column, that should end up as 0.68, which you can figure out. Really, you don't even have to do all the multiplication. All right, if I have one entry, I can find the other entry because I have to add to 1 for my Markov chain. Okay, that's fine to do as long as just be careful, make sure you get the first one right, because if you mess up the first one, then it'll mess up the second one, if you're just worried about adding to 1. So anyway, what this is, if I look, this 0.68 is basically if I started in state 1, the probability of ending in, so we're talking about this 0.68, if I start in state 1, the probability of ending in state 2 after 2 transitions is 0.68. Okay, so in other words, if you think back to the employed-unemployed example we used last week, so say I'm starting out employed, this is probability 2 weeks from now, so 1 week from now was 0.2, that was this, 2 weeks from now is the 0.68. Okay, that's kind of the most of what this section is. So if we look at our next here, okay, sorry about thought that would transition over a little bit, pardon the pun there, but this I'm talking about. All right, basically that's just P times P times P, all right, K times, all right. So basically if I want to find K transitions, I want to find 2 transitions, we do P to the second. If I want to do 3 transitions, P to the third. If I want to do 10 transitions, P to the 10th. Okay. So, sorry, I left this in. I thought I got rid of this. We've already basically done that, so we can ignore that. Okay. All right. So, let's say I wanted to find 3 transitions. Okay, we already did the 2 transitions. If I want to find 3 transitions, okay, so I'm finding P of 3, okay, I can find that by taking P of 2 times P of 1, okay, because really this is just, so p of 3 is just p to the third power. It's supposed to be a 3. Okay, so that's p squared times p. All right. Well, I already got p squared. We did that earlier. That's the 0.68, 0.32, and so on. So write that. Okay, to find P3, so that's going to be for after 3 transitions, multiply P2 times P. Okay, so all right, so we do that, you should end up with 0.392, 0.608. This one is also 0.608, 0.392. Okay, so if I want to know if it starts in state 1, probably they'll be in state 1 after 3 transitions. That's part A up here. Okay, so starting in state 1, ending in state 1 after 3, that's the 0.392. Okay, row 1, column 1. If I said, so if we look at C, if it starts in state 1, well, it's probably going to be in state 2. So state 1, okay, remember that's first row. Probably it ends in state 2, that would be the 0.608. Okay, so that's the answer to part C. All right, I don't really have room on this slide. If we wanted to do part B up here, basically we just do p squared times p squared. Okay. All right, and then we just find if it starts in state 2, ends in state 1, so that's going to be row 2, column 1, after I multiply that out. Okay? So if we look here, if we end up with a 3 by 3, it gets a little more complicated, but it's still the exact same process. Okay? So I don't think I have room to write all these decimals on here trying to multiply this out, but essentially, so if I want to do this one, we need 2 transitions. So we find P2. So we multiply P times P. Okay, same method. And feel free to use a calculator on these. Some of them can get really difficult when you have like, you start getting to like 4 decimal places. But again, for this one, starts in state 1, probably in state 2. So all I do is find P squared. Okay, and it's whatever entry is row 1, column 2, for starting in state 1, ending in state 2. Okay, so it's kind of combining some of that stuff we talked about in 8.1. All right, now we're just adding a little bit to it here. Okay, for B and C, you would have to find P4, meaning P to the 4th. Okay, which again is just going to be whatever I got for P squared times itself. Okay, and then find the row and column it's asking for. So anyway, that's really all this section is. So if you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me a message. That's really all this is for 8.2. Again, feel free to use your calculator on some of these if needed. When they're fractions, it's not bad to not mess with the calculator. But, when you get into these 3 by 3s and I try to find P to the 4th, okay, just so we can see this, I'll show you these decimals. So okay, you don't want to try to do this by hand. Okay, that's just row 1, so that would take you forever to do by hand, so feel free. Man, my handwriting's bad. Sorry about that. Feel free to use a calculator as needed on this. So otherwise, that's all I've got. Have a good one.